Hey there, friends. Welcome back. There's something about a quiet morning that makes you notice what you usually miss. The coffee's hot. The house is still. Your dog is close by, resting at your feet, saying 1,000 things without making a sound. That's the part most people overlook. We call ourselves dog lovers, and most of us truly are. We feed them, protect them, talk to them like family, and build our routines around them. But loving a dog and understanding a dog are not always the same thing. Too often we listen with our ears while our dogs are speaking. With their eyes, their posture, their tail, their tension, and the smallest changes in their body. And if we miss those signals long enough, a whisper becomes a warning, and a warning can become a bite. That matters because behavior experts have long emphasized that aggression is usually not random. It often grows out of fear, stress, conflict, pain, or repeated signals that went unnoticed or were misunderstood. Veterinary sources also warn that when behavior changes, suddenly owners should think medical first, not moral failure. So today I want to take you deeper than sit, stay, and good boy. I want to help you read the silent language your dog uses every single day so you can respond earlier, more gently, and with a whole lot more wisdom. Because once you learn to see what your dog has been telling you all along, your relationship changes. Part 1. The eyes tell the truth. Let's start with the face, because the eyes are often the clearest window into a dog's emotional state. When a dog is truly at ease, the eyes usually look soft. The lids may relax into a gentle squint. The overall shape looks calmer, looser, less alert. You typically won't see much of the white of the eye. It's the expression of a dog whose nervous system is settled, whose body feels safe, and whose brain is not preparing for conflict. That soft-eyed look is one of the clearest signs of comfort. But then there's the look many trainers and behavior professionals call whale eye. That's when a dog turns the head slightly away, but keeps the eyes fixed on whatever is bothering them so you can see a crescent of white around the eye. It often appears when a dog is anxious, conflicted, cornered, or trying to monitor a situation without moving closer to it. Our SPCA guidance identifies seeing the whites of the eyes as a common sign of fear or distress, especially when paired with avoidance tension or a tucked posture. In plain language, whale eye often means I'm not comfortable, I feel pressure, I'm watching something I don't trust. That dog is not being dramatic. That dog is not being stubborn. That dog is communicating. The same goes for the pupils. Wide dilated pupils can show heightened arousal. Sometimes that arousal is fear. Sometimes it is intense excitement. Sometimes it is stress. What matters is the full picture. When the eyes go wide, the body gets tight, and the dog seems less thoughtful and more reactive. You may be looking at a nervous system shifting out of calm processing and into survival mode. Merck's veterinary guidance frames these states in terms of fear, anxiety, arousal, and aggression as interconnected behavior systems rather than isolated bad behavior. So the next time your dog gives you that sideways glance with the white of the eye showing, don't punish it. Don't label it guilt. Don't brush it off. Pause and ask, what is making my dog feel unsafe right now? Part 2. The petting paradox and why consent matters. Now let's talk about one of the most common misunderstandings between people and dogs. We love our dogs so naturally we want to touch them, we hug them, pat them, rub their heads, scratch behind the ears, and keep going because we assume that if they love us, they must love the contact too. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they like it right up until the moment they don't. That's where people get hurt and relationships get damaged. A person says everything was fine and then my dog snapped out of nowhere. But in many cases, it wasn't out of nowhere. It was out of a long sequence of subtle signals. The dog had already offered a lip lick, a head turn, a yawn, a body shift, a stiffening of the muscles, a freeze, a glance away. There's changing position, breathing, changing tension, building. Those are not random gestures, those are communication. Behavior professionals consistently warn that force pressure and ignored stress signals can push a dog toward defensive responses, while reward-based and low-conflict interactions help preserve trust and reduce the chance of escalation. This is why the idea of a petting consent test is so powerful. It changes the relationship from "I decide what affection looks like" to "I pay attention to whether my dog welcomes it." Here's the simple version. Invite your dog into your space. Don't lean over them or reach into theirs. Touch in a neutral area like the chest or shoulder, not straight over the head. Pet gently for a few seconds. Then stop and wait. If your dog leans in, nudges, your hand stays soft, or clearly asks for more, that's often a yes. If your dog looks away, turns the head, licks the lips, yawns, freezes, stiffens, or simply does nothing that may be a no, or at least a not right now, and that no matters. Respecting that pause builds trust in a way constant touching never can. It teaches your dog that communication works. It teaches them they do not need to escalate to be heard. That may be one of the most important gifts you can give a dog. Part 3. The truth about tail wagging and raised hackles. A wagging tail is one of the most misunderstood signals in dog ownership. Most of us were raised to believe one simple rule: wagging tail equals happy dog. That rule is incomplete, and in the wrong moment it can be dangerous. A tail wag does not automatically mean joy. A tail wag usually means arousal and engagement. The dog is emotionally activated by something. That activation may be friendly, playful, uncertain, intense, defensive, or conflicted. What matters is the quality of the movement and the rest of the body. Veterinary behavior resources describe arousal as a core behavioral state that can be associated with many different emotions, not just happiness. A loose, wide, sweeping wag with a soft body and relaxed hips is very different from a high, stiff tail moving in short, tight strokes. One suggests social ease. The other can suggest tension, alertness challenge, or overstimulation. The body tells you which one you are seeing. If the tail is wagging but the mouth is tight, the body is rigid, the eyes are hard, and the dog is leaning forward or standing frozen. Believe the tension, not the wag. Then there are the hackles, the raised hair along the neck shoulders or spine. Scientifically, that's called piloerection. It's an involuntary response, much like goosebumps in people. It does not automatically mean aggression. It means the dog is highly stimulated by what's happening. That stimulation may come from fear, excitement, uncertainty, frustration, or confrontation. In other words, raised hackles do not tell you this dog is mean. They tell you this dog is having a strong reaction. That's a big difference. Part 4. Pain speaks quietly until it can't. Now let's talk about one of the biggest hidden triggers in dog behavior: pain. Animals are remarkably good at disguising discomfort. That's not dishonesty, that's survival. Across species, showing weakness can carry a cost. So many animals keep moving, keep eating, keep functioning, even when something hurts. Dogs do this all the time. A dog may greet you at the door, eat dinner, play a little, and still be dealing with arthritis, dental pain, back pain, an ear infection, gastrointestinal discomfort, or some other physical problem you can't see. Then one day you touch the wrong spot, lean over them at the wrong angle, or interrupt their rest at the wrong moment, and suddenly they snap. To the person, it feels shocking. To the dog, it may have been self-protection. Merck's veterinary guidance is very clear here. Pain aggression is a defensive reaction, and medical causes should be ruled out when aggression appears or worsens. Avsabi materials also emphasize that sudden behavioral change can be linked to pain and should be evaluated medically. So if a normally sweet dog becomes irritable, reactive avoidant, or grumpy, don't start by assuming a training problem or a character flaw. Start by asking whether your dog is hurting. That question alone can save months of confusion and prevent a lot of unfair blame. Part 5. Fear, predation, and the behaviors people misread. Not all biting, mouthing, or lunging comes from the same place. That's one reason owners get confused. The behavior may look aggressive on the surface, but the motivation underneath can be completely different. The fear bite. When a dog is truly scared, the thinking part of behavior can narrow fast. The dog stops evaluating options the way we wish they would and starts acting to create distance. Fear-based aggression is widely recognized in veterinary behavior literature as one of the most common pathways into aggressive behavior. That's why some fear bites seem to happen without warning. In reality, the warnings may have been subtle, quick, or suppressed. If a dog is crouched, tucked, avoiding contact, showing whale eye freezing, or trying to retreat, the right answer is usually not to press closer in the name of comfort. It is to reduce pressure, create distance, and give the dog a way out. A trapped dog is a dangerous dog, even if that dog is otherwise gentle. The predatory chase. Now think about puppies nipping at hands, chasing feet, grabbing pant legs, or lunging at moving objects. That can look rude or aggressive, but often it is part of predatory play behavior and motor pattern rehearsal. Movement triggers action. Fast hands, retreating fingers, squeaky noises, and darting ankles can become irresistible targets. Punishment usually does not solve that cleanly. Redirection does better. Give the dog a toy to chase. Give the mouth something appropriate to grab. Slow the game down. Teach what to bite, not just what not to bite. That kind of guidance is far more useful than turning yourself into exciting prey and then getting frustrated when the dog responds like a dog. The love bite or cobbing. And now for something gentler. Some dogs will gently nibble a person with the front teeth in a soft, rhythmic way. Many owners call it cobbing because it looks a little like eating corn off the cob. People also call it tooth kisses. This behavior is commonly interpreted as an affiliative grooming-like action, something social, familiar, and bonding, rather than harmful. I want to be careful here. Not every expert frames cobbing the same way, and it is better understood as a likely social behavior than a perfectly settled scientific category. But it fits well with the broader evidence that calm, affectionate human-dog interactions are strongly tied to social bonding and oxytocin-related processes in both species. Research reviews and experimental work support the idea that affiliative interaction touch gaze and positive engagement can increase oxytocin and reinforce the dog-human bond. So when your dog gently nibbles you in a relaxed, affectionate context, it may be one of the sweetest things they do. It may be their quiet way of saying you're mine, you're safe, you're family. Understanding your dog is not about becoming mystical. It is not about dominance. It is not about winning some imaginary contest of authority. It is about paying attention. It is about realizing that your dog is communicating all day long, and most of that communication is physical, subtle, and honest. When you learn to spot whale eye, when you stop assuming every wag is friendly, when you respect a pause during petting, when you take sudden irritability seriously as a possible pain signal, and when you make room for fear instead of forcing contact, you become safer for your dog to live with. And that changes everything. Because trust is not built by control. Trust is built by being understood. The next time your dog looks at you, don't just see a good boy or a good girl. See a living being trying patiently, constantly, faithfully to speak in the only language they have. And from now on, you'll be better equipped to answer. So today, watch more closely. Notice the eyes. Notice the tension. Notice the tail. Notice the moment your dog leans in and the moment they lean away. That is where the real conversation begins. And once you learn to listen with your eyes, your dog will know they've finally been heard. If this kind of honest, thoughtful conversation about dogs means something to you, then you're in the right place. Here at Dogaholic, we believe dogs deserve more than labels, old myths, and quick fixes. They deserve to be understood. And the more we understand them, the better we love them. So if you want more stories, more behavior insights, more real-world wisdom, and more practical ways to build a deeper bond with the dog at your feet, go ahead and subscribe to Dogaholic. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. And if this video spoke to you, leave a comment and tell us what you noticed differently about your dog today. We're building a place for people who don't just own dogs, they truly care about them. Stay with us here at Dogaholic, where we learn to see more, listen better, and love our dogs the way they've always deserved.